Hey there, do you dream of escaping into a book? Maybe your escape includes a cozy cabin in the mountains or a magical town along the coast. Either way, you're in the right place. Welcome to Literary Escapes with me, Becky. This year on the podcast, we're exploring the United States. So every week, I'm going to bring you a new book set in a different state. So let's see where we're going today. So welcome back to the Literary Escapes podcast, and I am with author Angela Scarborough today. Welcome, Angela.
Hey,
I'm so glad you're here today. And
thanks for having me.
You are part of the Read Across the U.S. book club, and you are week 9, and we are visiting Oklahoma this week. So that's pretty cool. So tell me how you became involved with Oklahoma, or if you're involved with Oklahoma.
Well, I'm not involved with it. I just was trying to think of a place where I would like my series to be set, and I don't really know why, but I've always been intrigued with Oklahoma, and it's a place I'd like to visit one day. And
That's awesome. Okay. And so I'm assuming they're kind of Western, your books are kind of Western romances. Is that based on the title? And we'll talk about the book in a minute, but do you have experience with like ranch life or any, the country life, I guess?
No, I have family that live in the country, and when I was much younger, I used to ride horses, and I've always just been interested in country life. I listened to country music and I watched a bunch of westerns and read them and stuff like that.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, Oklahoma is one of the states I have not visited either. So I'm super curious to read your book and to get a feel for Oklahoma because it's I have no idea what to expect of it. So I'm super curious about that. So how long have you been an author?
All my life I started writing thrillers, and that's
Thrillers?
that's what I became an author with, and then I started needing to get out of the darkness of writing dark stories.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I decided to start writing inspirational romance and um sweet romances and stuff like that, just to take a break from it.
I can understand that. Yeah. My husband loves thrillers. So does my daughter, actually. I can't read them even. I definitely couldn't write them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can totally get why you would want to move out of that or at least take a break, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's funny. And yeah, I was looking at your books, and sweet and inspirational were the words that came to mind. And that's what you said on, that how you described them too. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find writing a romance to be fun or easier or just different?
It's much easier, I think, and it's it's a little bit different. I've always read romances, so it actually I thought it was going to be kind of hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was much easier than I thought it would be, and I started enjoying it. And I've been working on different subgenre romances, and the more I write it, the more it just comes to me.
I love that. Are you a plotter or are you what they call a pantser?
Yeah, I'm a pantser. I try to plot, and my characters have a life of their own. So
I like that. So when you get a story idea, how does that happen for you?
it depends on if I have the time to go ahead and write it, then I would just start writing it. But if I'm already working on something, I'll write a little some notes about what my idea is. Otherwise,
Okay.
I'll just forget it. And so I do write brief notes, and I try to write some kind of notes. And even if I stop at the end of a chapter, I'll write a note of what I plan on doing the next
Yeah.
chapter.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So do the characters tend to come to you first or like the storyline?
The
Or is it all
storyline,
together?
yeah, it's the storyline, but
Okay.
then when I try to get my characters to do one thing, they like to do something different.
I it's funny because I just started writing last year and I always thought that was so funny when an author would say that the characters would kind of do what they wanted to. I never really understood that until I started writing. I
Yeah,
still think it's weird that they do that, but they do.
yeah.
That's such a funny thing. So, what was your first romance book that you wrote?
It um my first one was When You Move by Faith. That was actually retitled. It used to be called Autumn's Rain, and I had that series. It's a 4-book series, and I had that series in on my computer ever since I was a teenager.
Oh
Like
my
if I ever
gosh.
wanted to write romances, and then my mom one day encouraged me to write some more romances or Christian romance, and so I had that, and I decided to go ahead and use that series that I
Had
have
already
always had.
started. I love that. Oh my gosh. That's really
Yeah,
cool. And this is the one that takes place in Tybee Island, Georgia, right?
yeah,
Okay, because I was looking at that one. And that looks like a really good one too. So that's really
yeah,
cool, especially since it was that you've had it for so long, not
yeah,
only in your heart, but in your computer.
yeah, and it even it actually ended up being women's fiction more than just
Okay.
romance.
Okay. For you, how do you discern the difference between those two? Because I feel like sometimes they're so close.
I actually didn't know that they were women fiction until somebody told me,
Okay.
and because I've always marketed them as romance, and then
Yeah.
I just after she was like, it seems more like it's women's fiction, and so I started doing some researching, and I realized that
Oh.
women's fiction more if the female character is on a journey of
Mm-hmm.
healing something, that 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 would be women's fiction more with romance tendencies.
Okay.
And
It's funny because I wonder if my books are that same way, but
yeah,
we'll see. I'm not sure. So the book we chose for Oklahoma is Unbreaking the Cowboy's Heart. And that is part of the Whispering Willow series.
hmm,
And is that book one of the Whispering Willows?
yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. So tell us about that story.
It I that took about 6 months for me to write because I kept changing the storyline, and I wasn't very happy about it. And it's about a young woman who going home because her father has a heart attack, and so she's going home to be with him and to help take care of him. And
Okay.
she hasn't been home in 5 years, and she's going to be meeting up, and she'll end up meeting up with her ex fiance that she left because she had something personal to her had happened right before she left. So she ended up
Oh,
breaking his heart, and so she's gonna have to come in home and face
she's gonna have
him.
to deal with him and her dad.
Yeah.
Bum bum bum. I like that. I love stories of people coming home, especially if you come home to a small town. I think that is one of my favorite things to read. And it's probably a good thing because there's so many books that have that element in it.
Hmm.
And it's just such a good one. and they think that the city's better. They think that this or that, and then they come home and remember everything that all the reasons why home's not quite so horrible. So I like that. So is Whispering Willow a ranch then? Is that
Is a town,
a town?
and
Okay.
yeah, it's a fictional town that I made up. So
Okay.
I was able to kind of build it in my head, and there's you can see the mountains, and I even had to look up, since I've never been to Oklahoma. I had to look up to see if Oklahoma had any mountains, and
And I wouldn't
it
have known that
is
either. So what mountain range is it,
um
or do
it's
you remember
the
it?
yeah, it's the Kiyomishi Mountains, something like that. I can't remember how to
Wow.
pronounce it.
I've never even heard of those mountains. That's really amazing.
Yeah, and so you can see that pretty much everywhere in the town. And
Okay.
there's a popular space where some of the characters tend to go to. It's on the land of the characters in the first book, but it's a popular place where you can go on the overpass, and people go there on dates, and you can see the mountains even closer. Um,
Oh, okay.
and I made it so that there are some trees and rivers underneath the o- overhang, or whatever it's
Okay.
called.
Okay. Okay. Kind of a lover's lane kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's always fun. I like that. Very cool. And so, how many books do you have in this series so far?
So far, I have two, and I have three written, but two of them supposed to be published next month, and I'm hoping the fourth one will be in March.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes, and then the other one that's not going to be published until like September or something like that.
Okay. Excellent. And then is that going to wrap it up or are you going to keep it going?
I'm planning at least 10 books in the series, maybe 11.
Okay. And
And
is it all family or the whole town or how do you
yeah,
choose like what characters to use?
it's going to be different characters, and sometimes the character will come in for other books, and but it's going to be focused on two new people in the town.
Okay. Nice. That's fun to when you make up your own town and get to kind of hang out there for a long time.
Yeah,
I like reading those and I like the idea of writing that. I think that would be a lot of fun. And then
yeah,
whenever you do finish, it's going to be like leaving friends, like you're moving. That
yeah,
seems like that would be really hard.
yeah.
Very cool. So what are you working on right now?
Um, just I'm working on the fifth book in the series,
Okay.
and but I'm also working on Sweet Rom-Com, and so
Oh,
I'm kind
fun.
of juggling two books at the same time.
Okay. That's fun. So rom-com will be a little different than what you're currently writing, right?
It's very different.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. I'm not sure if I can do funny. That's-
Yeah, I'm not sure I can be either.
sometimes silly situations come to me, but some rom-coms are a little more slapstick, I guess, than I can write. So it'll be fun to see what you come up with.
Yeah.
That'll be enjoyable. Is it a fun break from what you've been doing?
It's not, I wouldn't say that, because it's not even technically a break, because I'm doing two at the same time.
Ooh, that's got to be hard. Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are you reading right now?
I'm honestly not reading anything right now. I haven't had a whole lot of time to read, and I'm trying
Well,
to
if you're
make time.
writing two books, I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said when you do read that you like to read romance. Is that
Yeah, I read all kinds of books, but romances and thrillers are my two favorite reads.
nice? Okay, very good. And so, how do people get in touch? How do they join kind of your world online? Are you on Facebook? Are you on, where do you like to hang out with people?
Um, I'm mostly on Facebook. I have Instagram and Twitter accounts, but I'm
Okay.
usually on Facebook. So,
Twitter, I have no idea what to do with. I
yeah,
have
it's
an
been a long
account there,
time.
but I have no idea what to do with that.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I was active on Twitter. I was on Twitter for something completely different, and since I started writing even more seriously, I was trying to get back into Twitter, and I'm like, I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah. TikTok's kind of the same way. It's so visual, but it's a different conundrum, but it still confuses me. So yeah,
Yeah.
kind of funny. Well, very good. Well, thank you for being part of the book club. I have thoroughly enjoyed meeting you and hearing your story and sharing your story and your book. And I look forward to getting that sweet romance or sweet rom com out of you too. That'll be a lot of fun to see.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to be part of the Read Across the U.S. Book Club, I'd love to have you join us. There is a link in the show notes, so just head down there and click, and we will welcome you in. So see you in the book club, I hope. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week with a new episode.